The sound of that heavy steel door slamming shut behind you isn't just loud, it's absolute. It's the definitive sound of your old life ending and this new nightmare beginning. You're standing in a dim, damp concrete box halfway across the world, wearing clothes that aren't yours, surrounded by walls that feel like they're breathing. You don't speak the language. You don't know the rules. And nobody cares that you're terrified. Every single instinct you have is screaming at you to wake up, to treat this like a bad dream, but the cold sting of the concrete floor beneath your bare feet is way too real. Your mind races back to how you got here. A simple misunderstanding at the border. A wrong turn in a bad neighborhood. Someone planting something in your backpack. It doesn't matter anymore. The system here doesn't care about your side of the story. To them, you're just a number. A foreign anomaly to be processed, locked away, and forgotten. You look around the room. There are 12 other men packed into a space meant for 4. Some are staring at you with cold, hollow eyes, sizing up the new guy. Others don't even bother to lift their heads from the floor. The air is thick with the smell of sweat, stale tobacco, and cheap disinfectant. You find a tiny patch of wall near the corner and slide down, pressing your back against the rough stone. You want to disappear. You want to blend into the shadows, but your bright orange uniform makes you stick out like a neon sign. Hours bleed into each other. Without a watch or a window, time loses all meaning. You learn the rhythm of the prison by sound alone. The heavy footsteps of the guards marching down the corridor. The clinking of keys that sends a jolt of anxiety straight to your chest. The sudden, explosive arguments breaking out in a language you can't comprehend. Every loud noise makes you flinch. You realize very quickly that showing fear is a currency you can't afford to spend here. You have to lock your emotions in a box and bury it deep. Then comes the first night. The lights don't go off, they just dim to a sickly, buzzing yellow. The floor becomes a jigsaw puzzle of human bodies trying to find comfort on a slab of stone. You lie awake, staring at the water stains on the ceiling, listening to the chorus of coughs, whispers, and distant groans echoing through the cell block. Home feels like a parallel universe. You wonder if your family even knows where you are, or if the embassy has even opened your file yet. You are completely, utterly on your own. When morning arrives, it's announced by a metal baton clanging violently against the cell bars. It's time for rations. You stand in line, holding a dented plastic bowl, watching a gray, unrecognizable slop get ladled into it. Your stomach churns, but a guy next to you, an older inmate with a scarred face, nods at the bowl and mutters 2 words in broken English: eat. Live. He's right. Pride won't keep you alive. You force the first spoonful down, ignoring the taste, focusing purely on survival. Days start to blur into a monotonous, grueling routine. You learn to read the room without speaking. You learn which guards will look the other way if you need a sip of clean water, and which ones will use their batons for the slightest infraction. You learn that a smile can be misinterpreted as weakness, and a stare can be seen as a challenge. You adopt a neutral, invisible mask. You walk with your eyes down but your awareness up. By the end of the week, the initial shock begins to wear off, replaced by a cold, hardened reality. You aren't the same person who boarded that flight a few weeks ago. That person was naive. That person took freedom for granted. As you sit in the courtyard during your 30 minutes of daily sunlight, staring up at the razor wire cutting through the blue sky, you make a silent promise to yourself. You will endure this. You will adapt to their rules, you will survive their system, and you will find a way back home. No matter how long it takes. Every morning begins exactly the same way. The sharp, mechanical buzz of the master gate unlocks the cell block, and the smell of industrial bleach mixes with the stale humidity of 20 sleeping men. You don't jump anymore when the guards shout. You don't flinch when a heavy boot kicks the bottom of your bunk. Your body has memorized the routine, moving on pure autopilot just to keep your head down and avoid being noticed. You've learned that the most valuable thing you possess in this place isn't money or contraband, it's patience. Minutes feel like hours, and hours feel like a lifetime when you're staring at the same four walls. To pass the time, you start counting things. There are exactly 84 cracks in the concrete ceiling above your bed. The iron bars on the window are spaced 4 inches apart. If you stand on your tiptoes at just the right angle, you can catch a 2-inch glimpse of a dusty palm tree outside the perimeter wall. That tiny flash of green is your only connection to a world that keeps moving forward without you. You wonder what your friends are doing right now. Are they at work? Are they out for dinner? It's surreal how fast the universe shrinks when you're locked in a cage. Language is still a massive barrier, but you've picked up the essentials. You know the words for stop, line up, and danger. The rest you read through pure human intuition. You watch the shifts in body language across the dayroom. You notice when the mood turns tense before a fight breaks out, and you learn exactly when to quietly step backward into your cell. In here, being a bystander is just as dangerous as being a participant. You have to navigate a complex web of unspoken alliances and unspoken rivalries, all while remaining completely neutral. The afternoon heat is the worst part. The prison turns into a concrete oven, trapping the heavy, stagnant air inside. There are no fans, no breeze, just the collective misery of hundreds of men sweating through their uniforms. Everyone is irritable. The slightest bump in the hallway or a misunderstood glance can trigger an explosion of violence. You learn to compress yourself, taking up as little physical and emotional space as possible. You become a ghost in your own life. Then, a guard calls your name. Your heart stops for a fraction of a second. Mispronouncing your foreign syllables, he gestures for you to follow him down the long, echoing corridor. For a brief, wild moment, hope flares up in your chest. Is it the embassy? Is it a lawyer? Have they finally realized there's been a mistake? You press your hands against your thighs to stop them from shaking as you walk toward the visitation room. But when you get there, it's not a lawyer. It's just an official handing you a stack of bureaucratic paperwork written in a script you can barely decipher. They need a signature. No updates, no release date, just more processing. The crash from that sudden high of hope down to the reality of your situation is physically painful. It leaves a hollow, aching vacuum in your stomach. You realize that relying on external rescue is a trap. If you're going to survive this mentally, you have to find the strength inside yourself, day by day, hour by hour. Back in the cell, the older inmate who told you to eat on your first day watches you sit down. He doesn't ask what happened, he already knows the look on your face. Without a word, he slides half a cigarette across the concrete floor toward you. In here, that's a luxury. It's an unspoken gesture of solidarity. You realize that despite the harshness, the cruelty, and the fear, there is a strange, survival-driven community among the forgotten. You take a breath, nod your appreciation, and prepare yourself to face the next 10 minutes, and the 10 minutes after that.